I mean, it was not only not covered, it's expected not to be covered. And yesterday when I was watching the announcement, even Fox News, I don't think MSNBC and CNN were carrying it live. Fox News cut away from the president that the minute he started to give the details of what was actually going on. And there were, I don't know if you heard about it because it wasn't really reported, 4 executive orders that the president announced and signed yesterday. Did you even hear about this?
Of course not.
4 executive orders of massive magnitude that I think is a game changer, which makes sense why none of the channels would carry it. The reason why Fox News cut out at the moment it became clear what was going on and went straight to COVID coverage. Unfortunately, I didn't get any of that. I was just too astounded by, boom, they were gone. Is because it was about the pharmaceutical industry, more importantly, drug prices. And I learned an incredible amount about the scam that's been going on for 30 years, which the president has changed for at least until November. And I think that's why he has several different executive orders, the 1, 2, and 3, and then the 4th one he might or might not sign. But the minute it came down to the numbers, the savings, the American consumers of pharmaceuticals, the minute that number was announced, everyone who was carrying it cut away. Of course, we can't have that with all the advertising money come from the entire industry, but certainly also the insurance industry, who is really the bad actor in this. Only we're only going to focus on the back door of the insurance industry, so it doesn't look like they're the assholes. But let's get into the first executive order the president announced yesterday, and I can tell you exactly where Fox News even cut out.
The 4 orders I'm signing today will completely restructure the prescription drug market in terms of pricing and everything else to make these medications affordable and accessible for all Americans. The first order will require federal community health centers to pass the giant discounts they receive from drug companies on insulin and EpiPens directly to their patients. You know, insulin became so expensive people weren't able to use it. They desperately needed it. We have it to a level that you're not going to believe. EpiPens, likewise. You've been reading horrible stories about EpiPens over the last 6-7 years. Horrible increases where they went from almost nothing to massive amounts of money. We're changing that right now. These providers should not be receiving discounts for themselves while charging their poorest patients massive full prices. Under this order, the price of insulin for affected patients will come down to just pennies a day. Pennies a day.
This is where Fox News cut out. Boom, they were gone. Back to COVID-19. We've got problems in Texas. I wish I had clipped it. It was so obvious. They had to go away the minute he says, hey, the price is going to come down to pennies a day.
For affected patients will come down to just pennies a day. Pennies a day from numbers that you weren't even able to think about. It's a massive cost savings.
So this is obviously to get seniors on board and vote for him. And the mechanism that's being used is interesting. I believe somehow when the Supreme Court issued the order that Trump could not deport DACA kids, there was some Supreme Court ruling, and they said, "Oh, okay, you can't do that, or not in this manner." And I remember him tweeting and yapping about how incredibly important this was, because now the executive order power had just become that much stronger by an exponential number. And what he's doing here is cutting out the middleman, going directly. And this is only for these 2 medications, but they're the ones that have been most associated with outrageous drug costs, for the EpiPens and for insulin. And you had people coming up later with, horrible sob stories. They have to take shitty insulin that they can afford because the good insulin is too expensive for them. Now we go to the second executive order. This is something that he promised years ago, and I guess some states have already been working on it with him. He's going to laud DeSantis of Florida for this, but this is allowing states to go direct.
The second executive order I'm signing this afternoon will allow states, wholesalers, and pharmacies to do something other politicians have promised for decades and decades but never done. They never delivered. We will finally allow the safe and legal importation of prescription drugs from Canada and other countries where the price for the identical drug is incredibly lower. It's a difference like you wouldn't believe. 70%, 80%, 90%, 30%, but massively lower than the identical drug made in the same plant, the same factory, the same exact drug, same everything, same box, same pill, and yet it's 50, 60, 70% lower.
This is Bernie
this is something
thing.
That
Is what?
Bernie was all over this.
This is what gets me every single time. It's like, this is exactly what other candidates have been yapping about. And he just, of course, it's an executive order. It can go away the minute Joe Biden is president. I'm sorry, the minute his vice president is president. They can just, cut it out, obviously. But this is exactly what everyone was complaining about.
And yet it's 50, 60, 70% lower. And this is something that Ron and I have been discussing from the time Ron got elected, and I've been wanting to do it. And it takes a long time from a legal standpoint, and we've got it all worked out.
So this, there were laws for 30 years, pretty much, maybe longer. There have been laws on the book that forbid, it's the whole insurance market, the pharmaceutical market. It's very anti-competitive. They have regions. States just can't go and do a deal with another state. Your insurance carrier can't operate in all states. It's all divvied up. It's a huge cartel.
Yeah, it's a scam.
Well, it's a rigged system, and this third executive order is a doozy. I really had no idea that this was going on or how this works, and now that I've looked into it, it's the big secret.
The American people pay an average of over 3 times more for medicine than the Canadians. Many people go to Canada. I see it all the time. They go to Canada to buy drugs, and then they come back. Prescription drugs, because they save so much money. The trip is well worth it. I'm unrigging the system that is many decades old. We're doing something that should have been done a long time ago. The third revolutionary order I'm signing today will prevent middle men and women, I guess. But you've heard about the middleman, right? The middleman that makes so much money, nobody knows who they are. Nobody has any idea who they are. They make more money, perhaps, than even the drug companies themselves. And the drug companies, in all fairness to them, Big Pharma. And they're doing a great job in the vaccines. They're doing a great job in therapeutics, I can tell you, because I deal with them a lot. But I think the middlemen make more money than they do, and they don't do much.
Okay, so before I finish that clip, I found a short instructional video, what the middlemen do. And the middlemen have a name. They're called pharmacy benefit managers. I'd never heard of this, but the pharmacy benefit managers are essentially a data project, a data warehouse, who sit in between your insurance company and the drugs that you need. And they manage everything. They manage how much you're getting. They manage the shipment. They manage your profile. And they also manage the buying. So that they can buy in. The idea is they buy in bulk. They put down big sums of money with guarantees, and then they take a 2% fee, and then send the bill to your insurance company. So they buy the drugs on one hand in bulk. They manage everything. They get the prescriptions. It's the whole operation there, which really is nothing more than buying and selling. They take 2% fee and then pass that on to your insurance company. So you think that you would be paying 100% plus 2%, 102% for the same medication that they're buying. There, unfortunately, are at least 4 scams. I have 3 of them here. This is just quick explanations. The first one is the rebate scam.
The spread game. Tom,
I'm sorry, the spread scam. That's the first one. Where is it? Yeah.
The spread game. Tom just had his prescription filled at the local pharmacy, for which your PBM paid a total of $10. However, your PBM invoice reflects a $100 charge for that same drug in addition to its $2 administrative fee. Therefore, you pay a total of $102, resulting in a net of $92 retained by the PBM for managing that particular prescription. PBM represents the drug costs paid to the pharmacy as being $100, not the actual paid amount of $10, allowing PBM to retain the extra $90 without its client's awareness.
I'd say that's kind of scammy, a $10 drug, and they're popping 92%, $92 on top of that. The second scam is the repackaging scam. I think this is what Express Scripts does.
The repackaging and repricing game. The PBM pushes your health plan and Tom to their mail-order pharmacy by offering you deeper discounts and or elimination of the administrative fee, and offering Tom to reduce or eliminate his copays. Because the PBM repackages the drug, they can now arbitrarily assign a new AWP price of its own choosing with no obligation to inform the health plan. For example, the Lipitor prescription at a retail pharmacy costs AWP $441, minus a 15% discount, plus a $2 administrative fee, equals $376.85. When repackaged and repriced, the same medication ends up costing AWP $684, minus the 20% discount, plus a $0 administrative fee. That equals $547.20. Mail-order pharmacy costs the health plan $170.35 more than the same drug dispensed by a local pharmacy.
And then the final one that at least I thought was interesting was the rebates.
The rebate game. Tom's health plan won't pay for his $20 generic anti-acid prescription, but will pay for Nexium, the $148 brand name drug for the same concern. The PBM pays the pharmacy the $148, with $10 of a $50 total drug manufacturer rebate going to Tom's health plan, and the remaining $40 returning to the PBM. This arrangement costs Tom's health plan $138, instead of the $20 for the generic drug.
So those are the scams, and when you start reading about, there's not a lot of information. You'd be surprised about these PBMs or pharmacies.
And by the way, I want to mention this. These kinds of scams, and there's lots of, and there's one little other element, especially in that first scam, where the guy gets 2% of the drug price, is that if you start doubling and tripling the drug price, the 2% becomes a lot more money.
Yeah, but the 2% is just a joke. The 2% is a joke. It's a joke.
Kind of a joke.
It's a joke.
But 2% is what I remember when they were doing testimony years ago. Blue Cross came out in front of the California State Legislature, and the woman was testifying. Said, all we do is, and it's always 2%. All we do is make 2%.
Yeah, bullshit.
They said we hardly do anything. We just make 2%. But the thing is, the 2% of the $1 billion in profits is a lot of money. But then everything gets jacked up and hijacked, and they run all the prices up.
Doubled and tripled.
The 2% of $10 billion is quite a bit of money. This is so rich.
But you're missing one. The 2% is nothing. They're buying the drug for 10.
No, I understand that. The 2% is just icing on the cake.
Yeah, it's 800%. 800% in some cases. So Trump put the kibosh on this.
Tell you because I deal with them a lot, but I think the middlemen make more money than they do, and they don't do much. Maybe they don't do anything. Some people say they don't do anything. Nobody even knows who they are. But the middlemen are making a fortune, and pharmacy benefit managers and people are just bilking Medicare patients with these high drug prices.
Bilking the government.
Well, they pocket gigantic discounts. Gigantic discounts. The amount of money they've made.
The other element in this, he says, they're not really bilking Medicare patients.
No, it's bilking. It's Medicare fraud the way I see it. It's fucking
That's
fraud.
exactly the way I see
Medicare,
it.
of
I am
course.
paying, I have Medicare. I go in and I pay my $10 or whatever it is for a $200 prescription. You see it on there. They say they have the price, $200. Oh, geez, it's a good deal. But I'm not the one paying the rest of it. It's the government. It's the taxpayers.
Yes. And I see it as fraud. Now, it's like another 45 seconds of the clip. But it's important to understand how we got here. because this was all locked down. It's almost like the performing rights organizations. Only these people you can only buy from the approved pharmacy benefit manager. They're the only ones. It's all segregated. And why have these laws never changed? Because all they have to do is take 10% of all this bonus money they're making and put it into campaigns, and Bob's your uncle. No, nobody wants to change that. It's a groovy system. And I really want to know who these pharmacy benefit managers are. Trump says he doesn't know them. Because they should be tarred and feathered.
Locked up.
Well, they pocket gigantic discounts. The amount of money they've made over the decades is too incredible even to speculate or say. It's massive. Some very rich people are not going to like me very much today, I can tell you. I probably know them very well. I probably see them in Palm Beach. But nobody ever talks about who they are. I hear the middlemen for years, right, Alex? And he doesn't know who they are either, but he knows they're rich. And they're not going to be so rich anymore because the money is going down to reduce the price of drugs, prescription drugs. That's a big thing. That's a tremendous step. It should have been taken a long time ago, but they have a great deal of power. And I don't have to tell you how many phone calls I've had in the last few days when they heard I was going to be doing this. I've heard from people that I haven't spoken to in a long time.
So this is such a double whammy because the insulin and the EpiPen, that will affect people's pockets immediately. This other, the third executive order with the PBMs, that kind of should be rolling out September, October. But just think about it. This is exactly, it's hitting two of Bernie's points, the cost of it and fucking the rich people. He might as well just go, hey, and be Bernie. Only it's a solution that is not Medicare for all, which, of course, would only mean more in the pockets of these people and the politicians that support the legislation that protects them. And he just did away with it. And you wonder why it wasn't reported on. Because that would clinch it for him. The seniors, all the old people, and just because you said you had a prescription with Medicare, I think you'll see the difference. You don't have insulin. Do you? No, you don't have insulin, do you?
No.
Oh. The EpiPen?
No, but I think everyone should have.
You should have an EpiPen.
If you're going to drop the price, everyone should have an EpiPen around the house.
Yeah,
you get bit by a bee. You don't know if somebody's not allergic.
It's a good idea. It's a very good idea. Absolutely.
Yeah, a bee sting could kill you.
Anyway, I thought it was fascinating to understand this, to learn about it, and see that these executive orders are signed in place. And I don't know. It should make a difference.
Oh, they're going to go after him. If you think the thing is, he must have looked around and said, "Look, I'm way behind in the polls."
Yeah.
Of course, that doesn't mean anything. We know that for a fact, and people haven't even seen Joe Biden. It's like putting a dog turd into office. The guy's got about the same amount of intelligence.
Yeah.
But it's like he knows that the media has been pounding him. He's no, he's not a leader. He's not this. He's not that. Well, okay. Well, let's go and do what they like to do with the right wingers and go after their advertisers.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, you guys feel that way? Okay. Well, good.
Exactly.
See how you like it.
Yeah, I thought that was like, wow, okay.
So they're going to have to turn up the gas, but they can't. It's already at full steam.
And this really affects one specific group because this is just a money game. It's the insurance companies. I think there are 3 huge PBMs, and it's all split up into small little companies. It's very hard to track, apparently. But it's the insurance companies. It's Wall Street. They just hedge risk. They don't do anything else. Just push paper around. Algos do the business of screwing you, and he's coming in to disrupt that. I'm quite pleased with that, and I think.
Well, you said there were 4 executive orders.
Oh, the 4th one, which he will be signing if someone doesn't comply. And quite honestly, I just lost track of time and couldn't quite figure out what the 4th one was. But he threatened. He's saying, I may not have to do that one if everyone plays along. So I'm not sure. It's some kind of huge poison pill. There's no actual text yet, although I did see the
So you don't even know what it's about.
Well, yeah, I can tell you what it's about. I can tell you what it says.
What's it about?
Hold on a second. I'm going to tell you. Because believe it or not, they have a very handy website where they tend to put this stuff up. So here's your 4 executive orders. The executive order lowering prices for payments by middlemen, life-saving, drug importation, and then where's the 4th one? The 4th one. Yeah, okay. It's not on there, so I don't know what the 4th one is. It was just a vague threat then. I thought he'd published it. So I only have
somebody
those
knows
3.
what it's about.
Yeah, but I thought that was cool. I love seeing the complete lack of coverage. And this is a big deal. So even if they're looking at it not from a Chinese perspective, just we hate Trump, it's certainly, we can't have this guy doing anything good. Nothing good for the American people.
This is egregious malfeasance by the media.
Yes.